Thank you. This paper was actually co-authored with Amy Mashad, and we worked together on the sniper case. She was with the FBI, I was working with the ATF, so we worked together in our respective agencies. I moved to the Washington area January 2001. In September 2001 came 9/11. A year and a month later, we had two crazy guys around the DC area shooting people. I thought, what the heck have I done? Left the safety of Michigan. This is a very long and involved case, but I only have time to present part of it. And the best trace evidence that we got was from the very last homicide. It was a multi-agency, multi-jurisdictional investigation. These are just the agencies around the DC area that were involved. Here's a list of all the victims. And below the victims here, you can see how each of the victims were related back to the suspect. Like this victim here was related to the suspects through the firearms. More than any of the other homicides, the trace evidence played an important role in relating the last homicide, the Conrad Johnson homicide, to the DC snipers. Conrad Johnson was shot as he was preparing his bus for a day's work on October 22nd. Muhammad and Melva were caught 2 days later at a rest area, at a welcome center. Welcome to Maryland. The evidence recovered from the Conrad Johnson scene were a note sealed in a plastic bag. On the note, there were fibers found under the adhesive that were later related to the sniper vehicle. Also was a brown work glove and this duffel bag that contained a lot of trace evidence that finally were related back to the vehicle. Evidence as it relates to the Conrad Johnson scene obtained from the sniper vehicle. This is how they found the vehicle. They busted the windows out, as you can see, and scared the snipers to death, and then recovered some things at the scene, then towed the car to a garage, and then we searched it there. This is where they stored the gun, just a FYI. This is where they stored the gun. This is the fabric and insulation from the back seat. They just pulled that down, strapped the gun in there, and then it was, unseen. It was not like it was just laying in the back seat. This is the trunk of the car, obviously, and this is the back of the back seat. This they disconnected so that they could fold it down. And, oh, let me go back. And see this little hole here? It was like a little gun port. They ended up taking a work glove, like the one that was found in the woods at the Conrad Johnson scene, and they stuffed it in the hole so the hole wouldn't be so obvious. And here, this is just the inside where you can see they peeled away the, it wasn't a manufacturer's hole. They actually cut it and peeled away the metal. And this is how they suspected that the snipers actually shot people and then got away so quickly and unseen, is that they folded the back seat down, and the driver could pop the trunk from the driver's seat, and the trunk would only go up a little bit. So the gun, they stuck the gun muzzle through the back of the car, and then the sniper could actually look between the trunk lid and the edge of the trunk. And then they would shoot somebody, pull the gun in, pull the trunk down, the driver could drive away, which had to be really loud in that trunk. And we did find a lot of earplugs in there. So some of the trace evidence as it relates to the Conrad Johnson scene, there was a number of head and pubic hairs that were microscopically matched to Melvo and Mohammed, the two snipers, and through mitochondrial DNA. There were dark blue nylon fibers from the bench rear seat that were related to another homicide where apparently the snipers were having a little snack in the woods before they shot somebody. They were eating cinnamon raisins. And the swab from the Conrad Johnson scene, you'll see that in the duffel bag left at the scene. There were cotton swabs, like Q-tips, and on those cotton swabs were a number of fibers that were removed. And one of them matched the rear bench seat. A second one matched a rear bench seat. It was a nylon fiber. These photomicrographs were taken by Amy. A white polyester fiber, again, from the swab, the cotton swab, you'll see in the next few slides, were related back to the bench seat. The brown cotton glove, it was just, your basic work glove, but that was also related, the glove from the scene that was left in the woods, and then the glove that was stuffed in the hole of the trunk area of the sniper car. Again, some more brown-gray fibers from the Conrad Johnson scene. Hooper was another one of the victims. They found this light brown-gray cotton fiber. And then two more, the Ziploc bag and note, and then under the stars were these fibers. And then the cotton gloves. One was right, one was left. Perfect. This is a lot of the stuff that was found in the two duffel bags, comparing the two duffel bags. Okay, at the Conrad Johnson scene, that duffel bag was full of pepper. Literally, pepper. I opened it in my office, started sneezing. Ed Bender was working with me. We're sneezing. We're going, wow, pepper really does make you sneeze. And in the blue Caprice, in the green duffel bag that was outside of the car, that scene, that picture I showed you, there was a can of black pepper. Vermiculite in both the Conrad Johnson scene duffel bag and in the green duffel bag. Garlic. These guys were on some kind of health kick. In the sniper car, there was a lot of vitamins, a lot of holistic medicines, things like that. And there was garlic in the green duffel bag. And then there were garlic skins, these garlic papery skin stuff, in the duffel bag at the Conrad Johnson scene. Not what you usually have in your duffel bag. I do, because I'm Italian. But generally, nobody carries around garlic. Baby oil and a glove. Okay, how do these relate? The glove at the Conrad Johnson scene was full of an oily substance. It was oily, and it smelled like baby oil. So it was so oily that the envelope that they packaged it in was like greasy from all the oil on this glove. In the blue Caprice duffel bag, there was a bottle of baby oil. Kind of unsure what the baby oil was all about, but it was soaked into this glove, and it was consistent with this baby oil. And then the cotton swabs that I was talking about. Oh, by the way, the pepper, we suspect, was used to try to throw the dogs off because they were using tracking dogs. Apparently they heard that pepper throws the dogs off. These swabs this swab was from the green duffel bag from the car, and it was in, I believe it was in a Johnson & Johnson Q-tip, box. And this swab, gotten ahead of myself. This swab was from the duffel bag left at the Conrad Johnson scene. So Ed Bender actually worked on this part, and he measured them, and he called Johnson & Johnson, and come to find out, these were manufactured shorter than your standard Q-tip. I guess Johnson & Johnson were trying to save money, so they figure if they cut a few millimeters or centimeters or whatever off the end, they could save money. Well, apparently people complained about that. They wanted the longer Q-tips, And so they only manufactured these from August to November. So this was a limited batch of Q-tips. More stuff. This was from the trunk of the Caprice. A lot of these thorns, rosacea thorns, and these thorns were also found in the duffel bag at the scene. Also steel turnings. Not only steel turnings, but steel turnings with 3 different manufacturing processes. You have this little, and this is from Ed and our firearms examiner. You have these little cone-like turnings here. You have these big chunky ones, that type. And then this it's almost like a ribbon. So you have those things. And then finally, from the trunk of the car and from the duffel bag from the scene, there were these juniperus leaves. So on the Conrad Johnson scene, we were able to do a firearms comparison, and that's the ultimate things that linked that homicide to the snipers. And so, of course, that's what they used in court. They used none of this trace evidence in court. But it was interesting. But the interesting thing is, okay, our tool marks examiner and philosopher Greg Cleese always says, you can get eaten by a shark or nibbled to death by 1,000 minnows. The firearms evidence is like the shark. Okay, that was the one thing, the nail in the coffin. These, to me, are like the 1,000 minnows. You know, eaten by a shark, nibbled to death by minnows, you're still dead. You know, this to me relates, if there wasn't the firearms evidence, I think this trace evidence would have been enough to relate the snipers with this scene, personally. I have no statistics on that. So that's it. I'd like to thank Ed Bender. Paula Ernst did a lot of from the FBI, did a lot of the graphics, all of the pictures of the victims and that, and the FBI Trace Evidence Unit.